All right, we are live. Welcome back to the pre-Iftar Plug. My name is Umamah Moruledi, and I am your host this afternoon. We have had quite the morning or afternoon, I should say. Started the show early, but with a bang. We spoke all things humanitarian work with the Khair Shack, but we are back and we're into our next segment, which I know I always say all the segments are my favorite, but you guys know Muslim Market is my number one. And I love just getting into all things Muslim Market. This is where we celebrate young Muslim owned businesses and spotlight youth experiences through entrepreneurship and just get inspired by the talent and creativity of our generation. Today, we are all the way in Durban chatting to someone so sweet, literally, that makes your events and gifts extra magical. Meet Rehana Haniff, the 18-year-old founder of Whimsical Sugar. Rehana started her business back in 2021 when she was still in school, turning her love for baking into spreading joy, one delicious creation at a time. It's honestly so impressive, if I have to say so myself, guys. Being young, ambitious, and full of energy, and having school and all of that while still maintaining a business is so incredible. So I cannot wait for this conversation, and I will stop rambling on my own. Assalamu alaikum, Rehana. Welcome to the show. Are you with me? Assalamu alaikum. All right. I'm not sure if you can hear me. I'm not sure. But if you can I get like a thumbs up or something? Then we can get into the segment, inshallah. All right, it seems that we are having a few technical issues. Let's go for another break. Quick break, and then we will come back, inshallah.
You are listening to Salam Media live from our
All right, we are back, and I sincerely apologize for the very, very long ad break. But we're back with a very, very exciting conversation. We are in the Muslim market, and we are going to be in conversation with Rehana Haniff, who is the brains and very pretty face behind Whimsical Sugar. Unfortunately, we will just be having Rehana on the line as technicalities are just not on our side today. But nevertheless, Assalamu alaikum, Rehana, and welcome to the show.
Well, alaikum salam. Jazakallah so much for having me.
Jazakallah so much for accepting my very random invitation. I the second that I saw the work that you do, I said this some way somehow I'm gonna have to get this girl on the show because I really liked it when I saw your snaps. I must say for myself.
It was very random, but I do thank you for this opportunity.
The pleasure is all mine. We are very much behind schedule, so I would like to get right into my questions for you, right? And my first one for you is that you started Whimsical Sugar back in 2021 while you were still in school. Tell me, what made you take that leap so young?
So I was introduced to the cake industry at a very young age through my mom, who has long been involved in baking and creating sugar toppers. So growing up in that environment exposed me to both the technical skill and the level of precision required in sugar artistry. So over time, I began assisting her and gradually developing my own expertise. And with that, I managed to establish Whimsical Sugar with her help. It was not an impulsive decision, but a progression of a skill set that I had cultivated over the years.
I love that. And I love hearing the stories that come behind Muslim market. And there's one thing that continues to be the same is that all the moms are the biggest fans of the business owners. And I always love hearing it because and I always mention how I've had every business that you could ever think of. And my mom has stood behind me in all of them. Sometimes she should have told me, Mama, no. But I appreciate her allowing me to see the wins and the fails of it. And that takes me into my next question for you, right? Do you remember the very first order you ever received, and what was that moment like for you?
I have to do a bit of digging. It was my first order was a small sugar topper request. It was miniature dream catchers for cake pops. And it had such a significant meaning for me. It was definitely the most, it allowed me to affirm that my skill carried value, and it reinforced the idea that my creativity could become a tangible opportunity.
I love that. And I think we always have this thing of I want to start a business and I have the skill, etc., etc. But it only really becomes real when you have your first first order and you have to even show someone your product and see the reactions that they have and things like that. Running a business is very hard and it's very taxing, especially when it's something that needs your hands and your time and your effort to do. And so that goes into my question of how did you balance running a business while still studying and preparing for matric?
So during my matric year, I made the deliberate decision to temporarily pause operations in order to prioritize my academic commitments. So I recognize that success requires commitment and understanding when to expand and when to focus. So I definitely took a step back from the business and decided to reopen once my matric was completed.
Okay, no, I get that. Sometimes you have to see what needs most of your time at the moment. And I think that's a reason why a lot of sometimes business owners kind of crash, because you feel like you've got such a good thing going, and if you pause it now, what if people are not going to be so excited about it when you come back? But you don't realize that maybe that break and that pause that you take would be exactly what you need. You spend that time focusing on whatever else you need to focus on, but also strengthening what you have in your business. So when you come back, it's something so extraordinary, and you have what you have now, Whimsical Sugar, and just something so lovely, mashallah. The name itself, Whimsical Sugar, is so unique and just so cute. So tell me, where did it come from, and what does it represent for you?
So when I founded the brand, I was still quite young, and the identity reflected that stage of my life. My original logo was a unicorn and a bunch of floral elements, so it definitely embodies imagination and softness. I feel the word whimsical also resonates with myself because it reflects creativity, individuality, and spontaneity, which are qualities that are intrinsic to both my personality and my work.
I'm going to keep saying to every answer that I love this because I love your answers. and I'm going to sound just so TikTok washed when I say this, but when I did Whimsical Sugar, as you talk about it, it's lovely because as much as you started it when you were young, you still got your whimsy, and you're not letting anyone take your whimsy away, and continuing Whimsical Sugar. So I like it too that, as much as it's a name that you came up with when you were so young, that you haven't changed it, and then you still have it, because it will be a moment for you to look back and think, I was so young when I started this, and look at how, I've grown with this name and this identity as Whimsical Sugar,
Okay.
Moving on, because we are very short in time here. Your brand focuses, from what I have seen, mainly on brownies and sweet treats for gifting and events, right? So what made you to decide to go the custom route instead of just selling standard baked goods?
So, personalized sweet treats and toppers become integrated into significant life moments like birthday parties, engagement, Eid celebrations, etc. So, customization allows each product to carry intention and individuality. Rather than offering generic baked goods, I aim to create pieces that feel thoughtful and curated.
I used to always think, like, I used to rather say for my birthday, I want the unicorn cake from was it Milky Lane, and I thought that it was the coolest thing because you don't have an ice cream cake that's also a unicorn at your birthday party, and so I agree 100% with you that having something that is so individual and is something that's personalized to you for your special moments, such as your birthdays and special events, it's so lovely, really, to say the least. And having you create those moments for people makes it even more special, and I'm sure you feel so happy and proud with yourself.
So gratifying.
Yes, because it's like you're making someone's day better, and you're just making it, I don't know, you're making it really nice for them. Moving on to my next question. We're speaking about excuse me, all of the really good parts of having a business, all the whimsy of having a business. But what has been the biggest challenge of starting and sustaining a business?
Alhamdulillah, I have an amazing support system at home. But the one issue that I feel I do have is maintaining consistent innovation. Creativity is such a dynamic thing that it requires continuous refinement. And also the detail and the high labor-intensive care that sugar demands is quite... it's quite taxing sometimes to be able to give your 100% and be precise and patient with the work as well.
I could say I can imagine knowing that I've done all the businesses, so I can imagine how taxing sometimes it can be, because you don't want it to kind of seem like you're doing the same thing over and over. It was change, and I think living in a time of social media and Instagram and TikTok, where you have to be keeping up with the trends. Number one, you have to be innovative. You have to think of something outside of the box constantly. I can understand why it can be so hard or taxing sometimes, but you're doing pretty well from what I've seen. So, inshallah, we make dua that Allah keeps your business going well, and that, keeps your ideas flowing, so that there's no stagnation in the ideas and stuff like that. Inshallah, we might as well just see matcha cookies and things like that, so you can keep up with the trends. I have come to one of my last questions, unfortunately, even though I have so many others for you. And as a young Muslim business owner, has running your own brand changed your relationship with risk, patience, and trust in Allah?
So, operating my own business has definitely reinforced the importance of sincerity and intention. It has deepened my understanding that risk is ultimately from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that my responsibility is to strive with excellence and integrity. So, approaching business with ihsan transformed it from a commercial pursuit into something more purposeful, and it encourages my accountability, gratitude, and reliance upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in all outcomes.
We call this the Muslim market, and I have it during my Ramadan show, and I love talking about it really, because we don't realize that you find sort of place for Allah in everything, as one should, but it becomes so much more different, if I want to put it this way, when you're running your business and you need Allah's help, and you're sitting there and you're at a crunch time, or something went wrong and you're like, Allah, please help me, like, I don't know what to do right now. And just in general, the overall running of a business, you realize how much you really, really cannot do this on your own, and how much you need that help, and how much speaking with Allah and just having Him by your side across all avenues while having a business particularly is so, so important. And now for my very last question, unfortunately, that if there is a young person, which hopefully there is, listening right now, who has a talent but feels too young or inexperienced to start a business, what would you tell them?
I would encourage young individuals not to underestimate modest beginnings. Many successful ventures originate from small ideas nurtured with consistency and discipline. Age should not be perceived as a limitation. Rather, it offers the advantage of time to learn, to refine, and to grow. With clarity of intention and commitment to excellence, even the simplest idea can develop into something substantial.
I hope you guys all heard what Rehana has to say, that start that business, just try it out, and you never know what's going to come from it. And you think that it's maybe something so insignificant, but you see the reaction of people to what you come forward with, and there's nothing more heartwarming and just I don't know, lovely then yes, that's what I'm looking for. There's nothing fulfilling, that's the word, then having someone love the product that you have with, and just people understanding that there's so much that goes into creating a business, and you decided to take that leap of faith, and you find yourself having a business. It's such an amazing thing. So with that, thank you so, so much for joining me today, Rehana.
Thank you for having me on.
I'm so grateful for you for coming and joining and going through all of the technical difficulties with me, but nevertheless, we ended up having our conversation, and I can't wait to continue seeing you do great things with Whimsical Sugar. And when I am in Durban, now I must come and get a brownie, inshallah.
Inshallah.
All right. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. That has been Rehana Haniff from Whimsical Sugar, right here on the Muslim Market on the pre-iftar plug. Lovely conversation, and I just genuinely feel like we need more businesses. Everyone must make a business now. Even if you feel like it's an oversaturated, industry, you just make a business so I can have you on Muslim Market. I absolutely love the segment, and I cannot wait for next week's Muslim Market. This one was by popular demand, actually. So I will probably be having another one next week. We will go for a short break, and then we will be back with a very, very exciting segment.